Welcome to Romance Tales by Mandy. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Now, sit back, relax, and let's begin.
I knew I shouldn't have looked up. That 1 second, just one, was enough to knock the tray out of balance. My heart stopped as the full glass of red wine tilted, then tipped, like a slow-motion nightmare. It happened fast, but not fast enough to stop the inevitable. The deep burgundy splash hit a tailored charcoal suit. Not just any suit. Not just any man. Damien Alexander Smith. The Damien Smith. Billionaire. Restaurateur. Cold-blooded king of the industry. The kind of man who could ruin lives with a phone call or a glance. And I had just baptized him in Pinot Noir. Oh my God, my voice died in my throat. The entire restaurant seemed to hold its breath. The hum of conversation froze, forks suspended midair, waitstaff turned statues. I was so fired. I looked up. His eyes were already on me, piercing, darker than the wine on his chest. His jaw was clenched so tightly I thought it might shatter. One hand ran through his perfectly cropped hair, his lips drawn into a line that spelled only one thing: fury. "I'm so sorry, sir." I managed to choke out, my hands trembling. "It was an accident."
An accident?
He repeated, his voice low, sharp, lethal. He looked down at his ruined suit, the red dripping in contrast to the pristine white tablecloth.
This suit costs more than your monthly paycheck.
My cheeks burned. He wasn't wrong. Hell, the button on his sleeve probably cost more than my rent. But something about the way he said it, like I was disposable, sparked something inside me. Pride? Stubbornness? Stupidity? Maybe all three. I bit the inside of my cheek and forced myself to breathe. "I'll pay for the cleaning," I said, voice steadier than I felt. "And if you want to file a complaint, I understand."
I don't file complaints. I remove problems.
He cut in. His words hit like a slap, cold and final. But even then, something was off. There was a flicker in his expression, a hesitation, not enough to read, but just enough for me to see it wasn't all ice behind those eyes. He was studying me, not with disgust, with curiosity. Why? I didn't move. I didn't run. I stood there, chest rising and falling, heart thudding in my ears, and watched as the most dangerous man in the room looked at me like he couldn't quite figure me out.
Name?
He asked suddenly. Sophie. Sophie Taylor. He nodded slowly, like he wanted to remember it, then turned to the manager standing nearby, pale as a ghost.
Fire her.
My stomach dropped.
"But, Mr. Smith..."
My manager stammered.
I said fire her.
He repeated. Then his eyes slid back to mine. He didn't wait for a response. He turned, commanding and calm, walking out of the restaurant as if he hadn't just upended my entire world. And the thing is, I should have been terrified. But instead, I felt heat, low, spreading, dangerous. Because in his eyes, buried beneath that fury and control, I saw something else. Desire. And that scared me more than anything.
I should have walked away. The second that wine hit my suit, I should have made one call, had her blacklisted from every fine dining establishment in the city, and forgotten her name before dessert. But I didn't. Instead, I stood there, drenched in Pinot Noir, and watched her. Sophie Taylor. There was something in her eyes. Not fear, at least not the kind I was used to. It was a flicker of defiance, like she knew exactly how powerless she was in that moment and still refused to shrink. I told the manager to fire her. It was the obvious choice. It should have been the end of it. But even as I walked out of that restaurant, her face was burned into the back of my mind. That voice soft, but not fragile. That look nervous, yes, but not desperate. And those lips parted just enough for a breath I'm not supposed to care about. I hate when things slip out of place. I built my empire by eliminating chaos. My kitchens run with military precision. My staff obey without hesitation. No distractions, no softness, no mess. And yet she was all of that. Messy, unrefined, a mistake with legs and curves and eyes I couldn't stop seeing when I closed mine. Later that night, I had her name pulled from the employee files. Sophie Taylor, 26, worked double shifts, barely above minimum wage. Dropped out of culinary school 3 years ago after something I couldn't quite find in the records. But that wasn't the part that caught my attention. No, that came from a line cook who happened to mention, while trying not to piss himself, that Sophie made the staff meals from scratch every night, unasked, unpaid, and according to 3 different employees, her food was better than the head chef's. That shouldn't have mattered to me. I have Michelin star chefs begging to be noticed. Sophie Taylor was a nobody, a waitress with a wild streak and a wine-stained resume. But I couldn't forget her, or the way she stood her ground, even as I took hers away. So, I did something I haven't done in years. I broke my own rules. I sent an email. Short, direct, ruthless. Deliver Miss Taylor's resume to my office by noon. I want her evaluated. Quietly. But truth was, I didn't want to evaluate her. I wanted to test her. And maybe, just maybe, I wanted to see what would happen when that fire in her eyes met the ice in mine. Because control has always been my strength. Until Sophie walked in and chaos never looked so tempting.
I thought it was a prank. When the email came, I stared at it for a full minute, waiting for it to vanish like some bizarre hallucination. But it didn't. It just sat there in my inbox, arrogant and real. Miss Taylor, Mr. Damien Smith requests your presence at the Smith Hospitality Group headquarters. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. sharp. No context, no apology, just a summons like I was his to command. I didn't sleep. How could I? I spent half the night pacing, the other half debating if I should go. A part of me wanted to say screw it and ignore him. But the other part, the one with bills stacked like a game of Jenga and dreams I hadn't dared to say out loud in years, whispered, what if this is your chance? So I went, and walking into that sleek glass building felt like entering another universe. Men in tailored suits and women with heels higher than my rent. Polished marble floors. Silence wrapped in money. His assistant greeted me like I was expected. Led me through corridors that smelled of power and control. When the double doors to his office opened, I had to force my spine straight and remind myself to breathe. Damien was behind his desk. Of course. Casual perfection. Navy shirt rolled at the sleeves, collar open just enough to hint at something indecent beneath all that order. He didn't smile. He didn't stand.
He just looked at me, slowly,
deliberately, like he was peeling away everything I was trying to hide.
Miss Taylor, I appreciate you coming.
He said, that voice made of smoke and steel. I sat, carefully. I wasn't sure I had a choice. That made his mouth twitch, almost a smile. Almost.
You're right. You didn't.
My fingers curled around the strap of my bag. So why am I here? Another lecture? Or did you just want front row seats to my humiliation? He leaned forward, elbows on the desk.
I want to make you a proposition.
My breath caught, because the way he said it, it wasn't just business. I'm listening, I said, even though my heart was slamming against my ribs.
I want you to cook for me. Exclusively. For 1 month. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
My jaw actually dropped. Excuse me?
You're wasted as a waitress. And I'm tired of uninspired chefs who care more about foam than flavor.
You want me to cook in one of your restaurants? He shook his head.
In my house.
Silence. Dead, echoing silence. His house? He wanted me in his home? Are you insane? I whispered. His lips curled.
Probably.
I should have said no. Everything in me screamed it. It was reckless, inappropriate, dangerous. But then he added,
You will be paid triple your salary. And if you impress me, I'll sponsor anything you want. School, your own kitchen, a position in any of my restaurants.
And just like that, the game changed. I thought about every moment I'd spent behind closed doors, perfecting dishes no one ever saw. Every burnt-out shift, every rejected dream. This could be the door I'd been banging on for years. So I looked him right in the eye and said, "Fine, 1 month." And I swear I saw something flicker behind his gaze. Hunger, not for food, for me. And I had a feeling that what we were about to start had nothing to do with cooking.
She doesn't belong here. That was my first thought when Sophie walked through the front doors of my penthouse. A worn leather bag over her shoulder, sneakers that had seen better days, and eyes that refused to look away from mine. She stood in the middle of my perfectly controlled world. Steel, glass, clean lines, and didn't flinch. It pissed me off and turned me on. I told myself it was about the food. That raw, unpolished instinct in her cooking. The kind of talent you can't buy, only discover. That's why I brought her here. That's why I gave her my kitchen. But I know better. I don't invite chaos into my sanctuary. I don't allow strangers into this space, into me. Yet here she is, moving through my kitchen like it's hers. Hair pulled up, an apron tied tight around her waist, her curves outlined in that casual indifference that drives me insane. The way she bites her bottom lip when she's tasting a sauce. The little hum she makes when something comes out exactly the way she imagined. She doesn't know I watch her, but I do, every night, from the shadows, from the glass wall separating the kitchen from my study. A predator observing something it can't quite touch, but wants to, desperately. She's smart, sharp. She doesn't flirt, doesn't play the game, which only makes it worse, because I can feel it every time she walks past me. This simmer, this pressure, like we're circling something inevitable, something primal. I tell myself it's just physical. Lust, biology. A man like me doesn't fall for women like her. I've been with models, executives, women who know the rules and follow them. Sophie, she breaks them just by breathing. Today, she served me a dish she created on instinct alone. Nothing fancy, just braised short ribs, garlic mashed potatoes, a red wine reduction she barely measured. It was perfect. And when I told her that, when I looked her in the eye and said, "You impressed me," she didn't blush. She didn't beam. She said,
"I know,"
and turned her back on me. No one does that. No one. I should fire her. End it before it begins. Before this thing between us grows teeth. But I won't. Because I want her close. Even if it means feeding the wolf I've kept locked away for far too long.
There's something about his house that messes with my head. Maybe it's the silence, the kind that hums in the walls, like it's holding its breath. Or maybe it's the view. All glass and sky, the city stretching beneath us like we're gods looking down. But I think maybe it's him. Damien Smith. The man moves like he owns the earth beneath his feet. Always in black or dark gray, as if color might give away too much. He doesn't speak unless he has to. Doesn't smile unless it's sharp. And when he looks at me, really looks like he did tonight, I swear the air changes. I was plating the seared scallops, white wine, butter, just a hint of thyme. The kitchen was quiet, just the soft clink of porcelain and the faint hiss of the pan behind me. I'd already noticed he didn't like music. Too many distractions. He preferred the sound of precision. I carried the plate out to him. He was at the head of the long dining table, sleeves rolled, tie gone, top buttons undone. Hair still perfect. Of course. Reading something on his phone, until I stepped closer. That's when he looked up. Our eyes met. It was supposed to be a normal glance. A nod. Thank you. That's it. But no. His gaze dragged over me, slow, deliberate. From my eyes to my lips, down my neck and lower. And I felt it. Everywhere. I set the plate in front of him and leaned forward just enough. Too close, maybe. The heat of his body reached out to me. The faint scent of his cologne. Amber, leather, danger. He inhaled once. Deep. Like something about me caught him off guard.
You wear jasmine.
He said, voice low. Rough. Like he wasn't expecting the words to come out. My breath caught. How do you?
It's faint. But it's there. Jasmine and something else.
He murmured. I didn't answer. Couldn't. My pulse was pounding in places I didn't even know had a rhythm. My fingers brushed the edge of his glass. My knuckles nearly touched his. We were that close. And then nothing. No kiss. No touch. Just tension so thick I could have sliced it and served it with a garnish. He picked up his fork, but his eyes were still on me.
Go rest. You've earned it.
But it wasn't a dismissal. It was a warning. I left the room on legs that barely worked. My skin still tingling. My heart a mess of confusion and need. And that jasmine he smelled? It's not perfume. It's my soap. My most ordinary scent. But tonight, it felt like sin.
There are lines I don't cross. Not because I'm a saint, far from it. But because I know how dangerous I am when I forget the rules. When I want something too much. And right now, I want Sophie Taylor more than I've wanted anything in years. It's not just the way she moves in my kitchen like she owns it. Like she was born to command heat and flame. It's not just her voice, soft and confident, or the way she bites her lip when she's thinking. It's the fire under her skin, the quiet challenge in her eyes, the part of her that doesn't flinch when I get too close. Tonight, I stepped into the kitchen for something simple, a glass of water, maybe to watch her from a distance like I usually do. But she was reaching for a spice jar on the top shelf, barefoot, stretched high, the hem of her shirt lifting just enough to show the small of her back. I don't know what possessed me, but I stepped closer, so close I could feel the warmth coming off her skin. I can reach that, I said, my voice lower than it should have been. She startled, turned just as I reached up behind her, and her hand, her small, warm hand, brushed mine. It should have been nothing, but it felt like everything. Electric, instant. Her fingers stilled against mine, and she looked up, eyes wide, lips slightly parted. That 1 second was too much, and not enough. I froze, not because I was afraid, but because I was this close to grabbing her, to backing her up against the counter and showing her exactly how much I've thought about her mouth, her hips, the sound she'd make if I lost control. She didn't pull away, and that was the worst part. She just stood there, watching me like she knew exactly what was going through my head. And maybe she did. My pulse slammed in my throat. My hand still hovered near hers, not touching now, but barely. I swallowed hard, took a step back. Careful, I said, even though it came out rough, like gravel in my throat. Knives are sharp around here. She blinked, like coming out of a trance, then turned back to the stove. Too fast. Neither of us said a word after that. But all night, I tasted that moment on my tongue. And I knew my control wasn't cracking. It was already gone.
I was losing sleep. Not because of the work. Cooking for Damien is demanding, sure, but I've handled worse in busier kitchens. No, what kept me awake was the way he looks at me. Like I'm not supposed to be there, and yet, like, he can't stand the idea of me leaving. It was getting too dangerous. The tension between us? It wasn't just something you felt. You could taste it. Every breath near him felt stolen. Every silence between us pulsed with heat. I started making excuses to leave a little earlier, to avoid the late dinners, the accidental closeness, the way his voice dropped when he said my name. So tonight, I told myself, enough. I packed my knives, kept my head down, avoided the study where he usually sat with a glass of scotch and his goddamn smirk. I told myself I'd get out clean. But fate, of course, had other plans. I turned the corner of the long hallway, and there he was, leaning against the wall like he was waiting, like he knew. His shirt sleeves were rolled again. His tie was gone. His eyes locked on mine, unreadable but blazing. I froze mid-step.
Going somewhere?
He asked, voice smooth. Too smooth? I forced a smile. Just heading home. He didn't move. Didn't blink.
You've been avoiding me.
I've been working. He stepped closer. I took a breath and regretted it. He smelled like spice and storm. Like power. Like something you're not supposed to touch, but want anyway.
Sophie.
God.
The way he said my name. Like a command wrapped in a whisper. I don't think this is a good idea, I said, barely above a murmur. His jaw clenched.
You think I don't know that?
Then silence. Our bodies were inches apart. My back hit the wall behind me, cool against my skin. His hands didn't touch me, but they hovered, close enough to make my heart race.
You think I don't feel it too? Every time you walk in a room, I forget why I shouldn't want you.
His voice rasping now. My breath caught. Damien. He leaned in, his mouth just beside my ear.
Say you don't feel it. Right now. And I'll walk away.
I couldn't. I didn't. Because there, in the silence, with the world holding its breath around us, every reason to say no evaporated. And all I wanted was to say yes.
I should have walked away. I should have said her name one last time, turned my back, and left her standing there, flushed, breathless, dangerous as sin. But I didn't. I stepped closer, close enough to feel the warmth radiating off her skin, to catch the faintest trace of jasmine clinging to her. God, that scent was already burned into my memory. She tilted her chin up, defiant even now, eyes locked with mine like a challenge. And then I lost every ounce of control I prided myself on. I grabbed her waist and pulled her into me, hard enough to draw a gasp from her lips. Her hands flew up to my chest, but she didn't push me away. No, she clutched my shirt like she needed something to hold on to before the ground gave way beneath us both. I crushed my mouth to hers. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't soft. It was desperate, hot, starved. Her lips parted for me, and I devoured her like I'd been starving for weeks, and she was the only thing that could save me. Tongue sweeping against hers, teeth grazing her bottom lip, my hand tangled in her hair as she melted against me, hips pressed flush to mine. She moaned into the kiss, and it lit something dangerous in me. I wanted to taste every inch of her, feel her nails on my back, her breath in my ear, her skin beneath mine. I wanted to lose myself in her. But that was exactly the problem, because just as quickly as I took her, I tore myself away. She blinked, dazed, lips red and kiss-bitten, her chest rising and falling in ragged breaths.
Damien?
No, the word came out rough, torn from my throat. I stepped back. 1, 2 paces, like I needed distance to breathe. That was a mistake. Her eyes darkened.
You didn't kiss me like it was.
Damn her for being right. Damn me for proving her right. We can't, I muttered, more to myself than her. You work for me. It crosses a line I don't cross. She looked at me like she wanted to slap me, or kiss me again. And for a second, I almost let her. But I didn't. I turned and walked away, leaving behind the taste of her on my lips, and a fire in my chest I wasn't sure I could put out.
I should have known better. I should have remembered that men like Damien Smith don't kiss women like me. They use us, test us, discard us. But that kiss, God, that kiss had ruined me. Now here I was, standing in the foyer of his absurdly beautiful penthouse, my apron already folded in my hands, ready to walk away with whatever pride I had left. I'm done, I told him, chin high, voice steady even though my heart was pounding like war drums. Find another chef. I'm not your toy. He leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed over that infuriatingly perfect chest, wearing that tailored charcoal gray shirt like it was stitched directly onto his body. His eyes didn't flinch. Neither did his smirk.
You still have 3 weeks left on your contract. I'm not releasing you early.
He said, his tone casual, but there was heat underneath. My breath hitched. Are you kidding me?
No, I made a business deal. I intend to see it through.
He stepped forward slowly, predatory. My skin prickled with a mix of fury and something else. Something darker. Something that coiled low in my belly every time he looked at me like that. So, I'm a business deal to you? He didn't answer right away. Just stared at me. Those eyes, dark, unreadable, full of things I wasn't sure I wanted to name. Finally, he said,
If you were just that, I wouldn't be trying this hard to keep you.
The silence between us crackled. Heavy, charged. I should have turned and walked out. Should have slammed the door and never looked back. Instead, I stepped forward. Slowly, like I was daring the fire to burn me. If I'm going to stay, I said, close enough now to see the pulse ticking in his throat, then understand one thing. He arched a brow. I don't belong to you. You don't get to kiss me and then pretend it didn't happen. You don't get to make me feel something and then hide behind your suits and contracts and cold stares. His jaw tightened. I could tell I'd hit a nerve. Good. But when I turned to leave the room, to clear my head, to remember who I was, I felt his hand wrap around my wrist. Gently. Firm.
I never said you belonged to me. But you sure as hell don't belong to anyone else either.
He said softly, voice like velvet and sin. My breath caught. That wasn't control. That wasn't power. That was possession. And part of me wanted it, craved it, even as I hated myself for it.
She's everywhere, in the scent of basil and garlic that clings to the air after she leaves the kitchen, in the soft echo of her laughter that sometimes haunts the hallway when the house is too quiet, in the goddamn jasmine shampoo that lingers on the towel she forgot in my guest bathroom. I can't escape her, and I've stopped pretending I want to. Tonight, she cooked for me. Just me. A private dinner, she said. One last gesture of professionalism before we both implode. She wore a black dress that wasn't even close to appropriate for a chef, and I suspect she knew exactly what she was doing. It hugged her curves like a promise, modest on the surface, but with a slit high enough to tempt, and a neckline that drew my eyes again and again to the soft, flushed skin of her chest. The food was excellent. Of course it was, but I couldn't taste it. Not really, because the only thing I wanted to devour was her. She served the final course, some delicate chocolate creation with raspberry sauce, and I watched her tongue flick across the tip of her spoon before she caught me staring. She held my gaze and smiled. That was my undoing. I stood slowly, my chair scraping against the marble. She froze, the plate in her hands forgotten. I closed the distance between us with measured steps, like a man approaching a ledge he fully intended to jump off. Sophie, I said, my voice rough low. She didn't answer, didn't look away. Her breath was shallow. I could hear it. I reached for her, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear, letting my knuckles trail down the side of her neck. Her pulse was a drum beneath her skin. Rapid, wild. I can't stop thinking about you, I admitted. Each word a confession I'd sworn I'd never say. It's irrational, it's infuriating, and it's real. Her lips parted slightly, but still, she said nothing. So I leaned in, until my mouth hovered just above hers. If you don't want this, I said, voice barely more than a whisper. Tell me now. A beat, two, and then she kissed me. No hesitation, no slow build. Her hands tangled in my shirt, pulling me closer as our mouths collided. Hungry, desperate, I groaned against her lips, gripping her hips, backing her into the wall behind her like I'd dreamed of doing for days. Weeks. Her fingers found the buttons of my shirt, trembling but determined. And when I lifted her onto the edge of the dining table, knocking over a glass in the process, she let out a soft gasp that nearly undid me completely. It wasn't just desire. It was something deeper, darker, dangerous. I should have stopped. I didn't. And the way she moaned my name in the low candlelight told me she didn't want me to.
I don't remember who moved first. Maybe it was me. Maybe it was him. But the moment his lips touched mine, the world shifted. It wasn't soft. It wasn't careful. It was raw, fierce, like we'd both been holding our breath for too long and finally let go. His hands framed my face like I was something precious and breakable, even as his mouth claimed mine like I was anything but. I could feel the heat in his body, the restraint he was battling with every second. But I didn't want him restrained. I wanted him real. When my back hit the counter, I gasped, not from fear, but anticipation. His breath was rough against my neck, and when his hands slid under my shirt and touched bare skin, I felt it everywhere. His touch wasn't hesitant. It was desperate, worshipful. My fingers found his shoulders, his hair, pulled him closer like instinct, like I'd been waiting to do this since the second I spilled wine on him. I didn't care that we were in a kitchen, that the stove was still warm, that marble was digging into the backs of my thighs. I just wanted Damien. And when he entered me, there was no space left for air, for words, for logic. There was only us. Bodies pressed together in a rhythm that felt like it had always been meant to happen. His forehead rested against mine. His name was the only thing I could say. The only thing I wanted to say. When we finally slowed, breathless, tangled, stunned, we didn't speak. He held me like I was something that might vanish. I held him like I didn't want to move. Eventually, I slid off the counter, legs still a little shaky. "So," I said, grinning as I opened his wine cabinet. "That's what you call a taste test." He let out a soft, surprised laugh, a sound I hadn't heard from him before.
You've ruined me for everything else.
He was the one who grabbed the wine, pulled the bottle from the rack like he already knew it by heart, like it was waiting for this exact night. He poured us each a glass, his fingers brushing mine as he handed it to me, that same electricity from earlier still pulsing between us. And then we talked, really talked, laughed quietly, opened little pieces of ourselves we hadn't dared show before. I told him about my mom, about how I learned to cook barefoot in a kitchen that smelled like cinnamon and coffee, about the years I spent hiding in the back of restaurants, hoping someone would finally notice me for more than a pretty face with a decent knife hand. He told me things I don't think he'd ever told anyone, about betrayal, about silence, about building walls so high no one could ever climb them again.
But somehow I had.
"You're not as cold as you pretend to be," I said softly, not as a compliment, as a truth. He didn't respond. Instead, he kissed me again, slow this time, reverent, like he was tasting something he didn't want to forget. This time, he stood, lifted me into his arms, carried me through the quiet halls of his penthouse like I was something fragile and essential, like the space between the kitchen and his bedroom was a path only he could walk with me. And when we made love again, in his bed, under soft sheets that smelled like him, it wasn't just heat. It wasn't just hunger. It was different than the first time, slower, deeper, like we weren't just giving into desire anymore. Like we were discovering something neither of us had dared name out loud. It was everything we hadn't said yet, and everything we were afraid to admit we already felt.
The morning light crept in too gently. It painted her bare shoulder with gold. Soft, warm, innocent. Sophie lay beside me, her body tangled in my sheets like she belonged there, like she had always belonged there. And that terrified me. I didn't move, didn't breathe for a moment. I just stared at her, the way her hair fell across her face, the way her lips were still slightly parted, swollen from everything we'd done the night before. She looked peaceful, trusting, and all I could think was, what the hell have I done? My chest tightened. This wasn't just sex. It hadn't been, not for a long time, though I tried to pretend it was. I told myself she was just a distraction, a thrill, a challenge I could control. But lying there, with the scent of jasmine and sweat still clinging to my skin, I knew the truth. I felt something for her, something dangerous, and I couldn't afford that. Not again. So I got out of bed without touching her. No kiss, no words. I stood under the coldest water the shower could offer, trying to drown the heat she'd left behind. And when I came back out, she was awake, wrapped in the sheet, sitting up, watching me with eyes that could tear a man apart without trying.
Hey,
She said softly. I didn't answer. I just started getting dressed, pulling on the walls I had spent the night tearing down with her body pressed against mine. She asked if I wanted coffee. I shook my head, said I had work, said I was late, said a dozen things that weren't the truth. And I saw it, the shift in her face, that flicker of hurt quickly masked, the way she nodded, pretending she didn't care. But I knew. She felt the cold return, and I hated myself for it. But fear is a powerful thing, and I'd spent too many years burying emotions to dig them back up now, not even for her. So I left her in my bed, in my house, with her scent on my sheets and her taste still on my tongue. And I told myself it was better this way, even as my heart screamed otherwise.
there's something brutal about packing in silence, about folding clothes while your heart breaks crease by crease. I didn't cry. Not this time. I was done letting my tears hit the floor of Damien's mansion like they didn't matter. Done pretending I didn't feel invisible, like I hadn't been in his bed, in his arms, on his mind, even though I had. I know I had. But ever since that night, he's barely looked at me. Cold glances. One-word answers. A ghost where a man once stood. He buried whatever we shared so deep, it started to feel like I imagined it. Like I dreamed his mouth on my skin, his hands gripping my hips, the sound of my name as he lost himself inside me. But I didn't imagine any of it. And maybe that's what hurts the most. He let me feel everything, then gave me nothing.
So I packed.
No drama. No storming down the halls. No screaming. I wrote a note instead.
Just a few lines.
Enough to say I was leaving before the contract ended. That I wouldn't wait around, hoping he'd thaw out and maybe decide I was worth holding on to. I folded the note in half. Left it on the kitchen counter. The same marble he once kissed me against like he couldn't breathe without me. God. I stood there a moment, staring at it. My hands were shaking. The place was too quiet.
Too still.
Like even the walls knew this was a goodbye. I slipped out before sunrise. Didn't even look back at the door. I didn't want to see it close behind me. Because what if? What if he didn't open it again? What I couldn't know, was that somewhere behind those locked doors, behind that cold shell of his, something was cracking. But by the time he realized it, I'd be gone.
The kitchen smells like nothing. I walk in every morning out of habit. Same steps, same silence, and still, I expect to find her, bent over the stove, humming that ridiculous messy bun she always did when she was focused, with strands falling into her face that she never bothered to fix. But it's just cold marble now. Sterile air. No music. No jasmine. I sit at the counter and try the eggs Cook made this morning. Perfectly seasoned, technically flawless. I can't taste a damn thing. Because it wasn't just food when she made it. It was warmth. Soul. Chaos sometimes. Passion always. I remember one night. She burned the edges of a tart and got so flustered. She cursed under her breath. I laughed. Not the polite CO kind of laugh, either. A real one. Deep. From somewhere I hadn't touched in years. She made me feel human again. And I treated her like a temporary indulgence. Like something I could sample and walk away from. But I was wrong. So fucking wrong. The house is quieter than it should be. Not peaceful, vacant. Even my office feels like a cage. The numbers blur. The deals bore me. All this empire I built, this untouchable life. It meant something when she was inside it. Now it all tastes like ash. I found her note again last night. I'd read it a dozen times before. But this time I noticed the way she signed it. Just her name. No flourish. No bitterness. Just Sophie. And it hit me that she didn't leave angry. She left done. She gave me 1,000 reasons to ask her to stay. And I gave her none. So here I am, in a kitchen that once smelled like fresh rosemary and cinnamon, her laughter echoing off the tiles. Now, I'm surrounded by stainless steel and silence. And the only thing I can taste is regret.
I didn't go looking for his past, but sometimes the truth doesn't knock. It slips through the cracks, whispers in the right ear, fills the silence he left behind. I was staying in a friend's guest room when I saw his photo, on some glossy page in a forgotten magazine, a spread on power couples who didn't survive the spotlight. And there he was,
Damien.
younger, smiling, his arm wrapped around a woman who was all elegance and performance. A ghost in red lipstick. My stomach twisted, not with jealousy, with recognition, because I've seen that woman, not in real life, but in the shadows he wears like armor. The article was merciless. She'd left him for a rival.
Publicly.
Spectacularly. Right after she leaked a scandal that almost cost him the company. But what stayed with me wasn't her betrayal. It was the last quote from a former employee. He used to smile more. Before her. Before everything turned to ice. I pressed my fingers to my lips. I had tasted that ice. But now I understood why it existed. It wasn't just about control. It wasn't just about pride. It was pain. Raw, untreated pain. And guilt. A kind that lingers in quiet moments when you ask yourself if you could have saved someone if only you'd looked up from your laptop sooner.
God.
He wasn't pushing me away because he didn't want me. He was pushing me away because wanting me terrified him. Because what if I left too? What if he let me in and it all shattered again? What he doesn't know is I don't want to break him. I want to rebuild him, piece by jagged piece, until he remembers how it feels to breathe in something other than fear. I miss his voice. I miss the way he watched me in the kitchen, like I was magic and he didn't believe in it yet. I miss the man who touched me like I was the only real thing in his world. And I know now, he needs someone who won't run, even if he never asks, even if his silence is louder than his heart.
He needs someone to stay.
And damn it, maybe I still want to be that someone.
She was wiping down the counter when I saw her, hair pulled up in a messy knot, an apron tied haphazardly around her waist, her sleeves rolled to the elbows. She looked different, freer, lighter, and yet still Sophie. Still the gravity I couldn't escape, no matter how far I tried to run from it. I didn't walk in to make a scene. I didn't bring roses or apologies rehearsed in the mirror. I just sat, quietly, at a corner table in that small restaurant that smelled of garlic, roasted tomatoes, and something faintly sweet, probably her. She didn't notice me right away. I watched her move, greeting customers with a smile that was too soft to be forced. God, I'd missed her voice, her laugh, the way she hummed when she was focused. When our eyes met, she froze. She didn't come to me. She didn't run either. She just kept working, chin high, shoulders stiff, as if I were another ghost she was learning to live with. And I let her. I waited, like a man starving for something only she could feed. By the time she took her apron off, the place was empty. She walked out the front door, didn't look back, but I was already there, standing beside her. Sophie, I said. Her name on my tongue felt like a prayer and a punishment at once. She looked up at me, eyes unreadable.
Why are you here, Damien?
I could have said I was sorry. I could have begged, but none of that felt right. She didn't want words. She wanted truth. "I'd like to cook you dinner," I said. That startled her. Not the apology she expected. Not the speech she'd probably rehearsed, shutting down.
You? What?
My place. Tonight. Just us. One meal. No expectations. I paused. But I'll tell you everything. Everything I should have said before. She stared at me for a long time. And then, God bless her, she nodded. The kitchen felt unfamiliar without her in it. But I lit the stove. I found the ingredients. I chose the dish I remembered she made for me the night I first kissed her. Creamy lemon risotto with scallops and rosemary. As she watched me cook, sitting on the edge of the marble counter, her eyes softened. A slow unraveling. Not forgiveness yet, but something close. "I'm not good at this," I said, chopping the garlic. She tilted her head.
Cooking?
Feeling. That earned a smile. Small, but real. The silence between us wasn't sharp anymore. It was tender, curious, like the space between two people who've seen each other naked in every sense and still want more. When I plated the food, I handed her a fork and poured us wine. She took a bite, closed her eyes, let out a quiet moan. "Is that good?" I asked, watching her lips. Her eyes opened.
No.
It's not good. It's perfect.
She leaned closer. My throat tightened. Not from pride, from relief, from something I hadn't dared name until now. "You scare the hell out of me, Sophie," I confessed, "because you make me feel like I'm not just surviving anymore." She stared at me, and in that second, the walls I'd spent years building cracked. "I don't want to survive," I whispered. "Not if it means living without you." She set the fork down, took the wine from my hand, and kissed me, slow, deep, forgiving. The kiss turned into something more. It always did with her. But this time, there was no rush, no desperation, no sharp edge of need that made us lose ourselves. This time it was slow, intentional, like we both knew exactly what we were doing, and exactly who we were doing it for. Her lips brushed mine with a softness that undid me. Her hand slid up my chest, fingers curling in the fabric of my shirt like she was trying to anchor herself. Or maybe she was anchoring me. I kissed her back, deeper now, letting myself sink into the moment, into her, into the taste of her mouth and the quiet hum she made when my hand slipped beneath her shirt, feeling the warm, bare skin of her waist. She pulled back, breath shallow, eyes dark and searching.
Damien.
She whispered, almost afraid to break the spell. But I didn't let her finish. I scooped her into my arms, one hand under her thighs, the other against her back. She laughed softly, arms around my neck, and let herself fall into me. I carried her to my bedroom, laid her down like something precious, something I'd been too stupid to recognize the value of before. And when I stripped away her clothes, piece by piece, I did it reverently, like I was unwrapping a memory I never wanted to forget. She pulled me to her with those fingers that had once sliced tomatoes like they were made of silk, and now they scraped lightly down my chest, then around my back, holding me as I entered her. The heat of her, the way she gasped and arched and moaned my name. It wasn't just sex. It was something else entirely. It was home. We moved together slowly at first, like we had time now. Time to rediscover, to apologize with every touch, to say all the things we hadn't dared. Her body fit mine like it was made to. Her mouth never left my skin, pressing kisses to my shoulder, my neck, my jaw, whispering my name like she was calling me back to life. When we came undone, it wasn't just our bodies. It was everything that had ever been locked up inside us, shattering. And when we lay tangled in the sheets afterward, sweat cooling, heart still racing, she looked at me with those eyes that always saw too much.
You're afraid.
She said softly. I nodded. I am, I admitted. I lost someone once, and I was never there. Too busy building this empire. I thought if I could just keep working, keep controlling everything, I'd never feel that kind of pain again. Sophie reached up, brushing her fingers through my hair.
I don't want to be another person you lose, Damien. But I'm not asking you to stop being afraid. I want to be the person you stop running from because of it.
She paused, her voice trembling just enough to wreck me.
Let me be the reason you take the risk.
I pulled her into my arms, burying my face in her neck, breathing her in like she was the first clean air I'd tasted in years. I don't deserve you, I murmured. She pulled back just enough to meet my eyes.
Then earn me. Every day. Just like I'll keep choosing you.
And that night, when we made love again, slow, deep, and unhurried, it wasn't about lust. It was about trust, forgiveness, surrender, and something terrifying and beautiful I was finally ready to name.
There's something different about this morning. It's not loud or dramatic or full of the electricity that used to crackle between us like we were going to combust if we didn't touch. It's quiet.
Warm. Steady.
Like the slow simmer of a sauce that's had all day to deepen. I stand barefoot in the kitchen, wearing nothing but one of Damien's crisp white shirts, sleeves rolled, hem brushing my thighs. My hair's a mess, my face bare, and yet he looks at me like I'm the most beautiful thing he's ever seen. He's chopping herbs beside me, focused,
Calm.
The man who once ran the world with precision and cold fire is now brushing olive oil on slices of sourdough like it's a sacred ritual. And maybe it is. Maybe this is.
You're judging my knife skills, aren't you?
He asks without looking up, a small smile tugging at his lips. I lean in, bumping his shoulder with mine. A little, but I'm impressed you're not using one of your personal chefs as backup. He glances at me then, just a flash of those eyes that once saw me as a problem, then a temptation, and now something much more dangerous. Something real.
I only ever needed one chef, but I was too damn arrogant to see it.
My heart does a slow, stunned flutter. I pretend to focus on slicing strawberries, even though my hands have gone a little shaky. He has a way of doing that, of slipping past my defenses with just a few words. We move in sync now. No barking orders. No tense silences. Just two people sharing space, stealing glances, and learning how to be again. He brushes flour off my cheek with his thumb. Lingers a second longer than necessary. I press a kiss to his wrist in return, and his breath catches. The toast finishes. The eggs are soft and perfect. The sun spills golden over the counter. It's simple, really. Eggs and toast. Coffee and bare skin. But somehow, it feels like we're building something from scratch. We eat at the kitchen island, knees brushing. I tell him about the dream I had, something stupid involving a talking lobster and a vineyard in Italy. He laughs, head thrown back, and I swear my soul soaks it in. You know, I say, playing with the rim of my coffee mug, if someone had told me months ago I'd fall for a man who wears cufflinks to breakfast and growls when his souffle collapses, I'd have laughed in their face. He leans forward, eyes locked on mine.
And if someone told me I'd fall for a woman who walked into my life covered in wine and attitude, I'd have fired them.
I snort. Sounds about right. There's a beat. A soft, lingering silence that doesn't beg to be filled. And then he reaches for me, gently, like he's asking permission. I give it. His mouth meets mine in a kiss that has none of the urgency of before. This one is deeper, slower, a rediscovery, a claiming. It's the kind of kiss that tells you you're no longer being chased. You've been caught. His hands find my waist, then my thighs, lifting me onto the counter like I weigh nothing. My legs wrap around him automatically, instinctively. I feel the heat building again, but it's different now. Not just hunger. It's reverence. He whispers my name against my lips. I answer with my body, with the way I arch into him, the way I hold him like I never want to let go. We make love right there, on the same counter where he once barked orders and I once fantasized about throwing a pan at his head. Now, it's the place where we found our way back. Later, He wraps a dish towel around my shoulders like a robe and carries me to the living room, settling us onto the couch. I curl into him, and he runs his fingers through my hair in slow, gentle sweeps. I think about how this all started. A contract, a job, an accident with wine and fate. And now it feels like we're simmering. Still hot, still intense, but steady, controlled, like a fire that finally found its home in the right kind of hearth.
10 months later, the lights come on. Warm, golden, and soft, just the way she wanted. The kind of lighting that makes everyone feel like they belong, even before the first bite. I'm standing in the corner of the dining room, my hands in the pockets of a tailored suit, watching Sophie move through the kitchen like a force of nature wrapped in grace. She's got her hair up, tendrils falling loose, a touch of flour on her cheek, and a sparkle in her eyes that no Michelin star could compete with. Her kitchen, our restaurant. I still can't believe we made it. Not just this, the sleek open space with custom marble counters, hand-picked wines, the signature scent of rosemary and heat in the air. But us, hell, especially us. I walk toward her, weaving through staff and last-minute prep chaos. She doesn't see me at first. She's too focused, plating a dish with the kind of precision that used to intimidate me. Now, it turns me on in ways I'll never admit to the health inspector.
You're staring.
She says without looking up. Of course I am. I murmur behind her, lips grazing her ear. You're kind of hard not to. She smirks.
Try to behave. It's opening night.
I lean in, lowering my voice. I've been very well behaved. You're the one who slipped me your panties before the pre-service meeting.
That was motivational strategy. You seem tense.
She replies sweetly. I chuckle, pulling back just enough to watch her slip into full command mode. She's radiant, confident, alive in a way I don't think she ever was before we burned down every wall between us. A year ago, I didn't know what I was hungry for. I had everything a man could want: money, power, control, but no taste for life. Nothing satisfied. And then she stormed into my world in that crimson dress, dripping wine and fire, and ruined every single one of my rules. Now she's my home, my partner, the reason I believe in second chances. She calls service, and the first plate leaves the pass. Applause breaks out from the dining room. I see critics, influencers, old friends, new investors, but none of them matter the way she does. Sophie turns toward me, cheeks flushed with victory. I pull her close, right there in the chaos. I have something for you, I say, reaching into my pocket. Her brows lift, curious.
You already gave me this restaurant.
This one's smaller, I whisper, holding up the ring between us. A simple band, but elegant, timeless, just like her. Her breath catches. She blinks once, twice, then nods fiercely, like she's saying yes to life, to madness, to everything that got us here. I slide it onto her finger, and the whole kitchen seems to hold its breath for a second before exploding into cheers. Later that night, after the last guests have gone and the last glass of wine has been poured, we're alone in the restaurant. She's barefoot, sitting on the counter, sipping from my glass. I step between her knees, pull her close, and kiss her like there's no tomorrow. She tastes like truffle oil and strawberries and forever. I lift her into my arms and carry her to the back office. We make love on a leather couch like two people who've lost and found each other 100 times. Like we know every scar, every story, every flavor of the past. Afterward, she curls into me, tracing my chest with lazy fingers.
We did it.
She whispers. No. I correct her softly, pressing a kiss to her temple. You did it. I just followed the scent of something real and didn't let go. She looks up at me with that wicked smile I'll never get enough of.
So, what's next?
I tilt her chin. Dessert. She laughs, but I mean it. Because this This is just the beginning, and happiness, I've learned, is best served slowly, savored bite by bite.